Okay, if you live in Connecticut, you definitely know that feeling. The electricity bill arrives and your stomach just drops. That sticker shock. It's absolutely real.
It really is.
So today we're going to dive into this report from the Connecticut General Assembly's Research Office, the OLR. It's from January 2025, called Factors Behind Connecticut's High Electricity Rates. Basically, trying to figure out why you're paying so much.
Yeah, let's just lay out the facts right at the start. The latest data from late 2024 puts Connecticut, well, not in a great spot, fourth highest residential rates in the U.S.
Fourth highest. Wow. Who's ahead of us?
Only Hawaii, California, and Massachusetts. And think about the bills themselves. The U.S. average was around $144 a month back then, but here, lots of families were seeing bills, consistently over $200.
Oof. Yeah, definitely feeling that. And the report makes it clear, right? This isn't like one single bad guy causing this. It's more like a whole system. Lots of different factors all tangled up.
Exactly, a whole cast of characters, as you said. And many of them are operating way outside of Connecticut's control, which brings us to maybe the biggest external force, our dependence on natural gas.
Oh, natural gas. Okay.
Yeah, about half of New England's electricity comes from it. So when winter hits, demand for heating skyrockets, right? That puts a huge strain on supply.
Competing uses, basically. Heat versus electricity.
Precisely. And it forces the region to import expensive liquefied natural gas LNG, often paying, top dollar on the global market.
And does the way the wholesale market works kind of make that spike even worse for our bills?
It absolutely does. ISO New England, that's the regional grid operator, they use this thing called the marginal unit pricing.
Marginal unit. Okay, what does that mean for my bill?
It means the price everyone pays for electricity in a given hour is set by the most expensive power plant needed to meet demand at that moment.
And that's usually
almost always a natural gas plant, especially one that might be more expensive to run or using that premium-priced LNG. So a global gas price spike. You feel it directly. It ensures reliability, but yeah, it links us tightly to those fuel costs.
Okay, so global gas prices are a big driver. What else? You mentioned things outside state control.
Right. Let's talk transmission and distribution. These are the poles and wires, basically. This is kind of the stealth heavyweight in your bill.
Stealth heavyweight. I like that. Why stealth?
Because the costs are set by FERC, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, completely outside Hartford's control. And those regional transmission rates, they've doubled in the past decade.
Doubled? Seriously?
Yeah, get this. Utilities in the region spent something like $11.2 billion on transmission projects just between 2022 and 2023.
Wait, 11 billion.
Right.
With a B. In just 2 years.
Yeah.
On infrastructure, we don't even control the price of locally. That's kind of crazy.
It's a massive number. So while FERC handles transmission costs, let's shift to what the state can influence.
Okay, good. So what levers does Connecticut actually pull?
Well, the state mandates long-term contracts. Think big power sources like the Millstone nuclear plant, plus major wind and solar projects. These contracts are designed to be like an insurance policy.
An insurance policy. Against what?
Against volatile natural gas prices. They're meant to be a hedge, providing some stability over the long run.
Okay, that makes sense conceptually, but
Yeah.
there's a catch, right? Especially now.
There is. And it's hitting consumers right now. If the price locked into that contract, like the Millstone one that kicked in July 2024, is higher than the current market price for power, which is mostly set by gas.
Then we, the ratepayers, make up the difference.
Exactly. You pay that difference. It's an investment in stability down the road, but it means higher costs today if the market price happens to be lower.
So we're paying a premium now for potential stability later. That feels like a tough pill to swallow when bills are already so high.
It creates real tension. You see a similar kind of tension with deregulation, too, allowing retail suppliers. Remember that period, like 2015 to 2021?
Vaguely, yeah. There were issues with some suppliers.
Big time. The report found some retail suppliers overcharged customers by like $34 to $59 million annually. But then in 2023, when the standard utility rate shot up because of the gas crisis...
Let me guess. Those retail suppliers suddenly looked better.
Much better. Customers who had shopped around actually saved over $100 million that year compared to the standard rate. So it's a real gamble for consumers. High risk, sometimes high reward.
Okay, so we've got gas prices, federal transmission costs, these state contracts, market deregulation. What else is adding to the bill?
There are also the costs tied to shifting towards cleaner energy. Necessary costs, but costs nonetheless.
Right, the Green Energy Initiative.
Yeah, primarily the Renewable Portfolio Standard, the RPS. That mandates we get 40% of our power from renewables by 2030, plus complying with RGGI.
RGGI, that's the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, the carbon cap program.
That's the one, caps carbon emissions from power plants. Together, the report says these policies add about maybe 5% to the average bill.
Okay, 5%. Not the biggest piece, but it's there. So we've covered these huge drivers: global fuel markets, FRC, ISO New England, things pretty much out of our hands as individuals or even state regulators to some extent.
Exactly. And given that those big pieces are largely untouchable day to day, the single biggest factor you can actually control is your own electricity usage.
Right. It sounds simple, but it matters.
It really does. I like the analogy of a leaky bucket. Your house is the bucket, electricity is the water. You can argue forever about the price per gallon.
But patching the holes stops the waste. Makes sense.
Precisely. Patch the holes. That's the quickest way to save money, regardless of the rate.
So what kind of patches does the report mention? What are the practical steps?
Well, first up is air sealing. Think stopping drafts and leaks, especially in your attic and basement. It's like zipping up the jacket on your house.
Keep the warm air in during winter, cool air in during summer. Got it. What else?
Insulation. Upgrading the insulation, the actual stuffing in your walls and attic, that helps keep your indoor temperature stable without the heating or AC constantly running.
Okay, sealing and insulating, then probably efficiency, right? Appliances and lights.
Absolutely key. Swapping out old incandescent bulbs for LEDs, that alone can cut lighting energy use by like 80%. Huge difference. Same goes for older, inefficient appliances.
And probably just some simple habit changes too.
Definitely. Things like only running the dishwasher when it's full, unplugging electronics that you aren't using those energy vampires that draw power even when off. It all adds up directly on your bill.
So wrapping this up, it seems like we're caught in a bind. We're locked into high regional costs, driven by federal decisions on transmission and our reliance on globally priced natural gas.
Right. But at the same time, the state is trying to manage future risk with these long-term contracts for clean energy like nuclear, wind, and solar, aiming for stability over the next decade or so.
Which brings us back to that tension. Those contracts, designed for long-term stability, are often costing us more right now than just buying power on the open market.
Exactly. And rates aren't really expected to plummet anytime soon, given the continued gas reliance and all that planned transmission spending.
So here's the provocative thought for you, listening at home. Does that promise of long-term stability, maybe climate benefits too, truly outweigh the very real, very immediate financial pain you're feeling with these high bills every single month?
It's the central question, isn't it? A tough calculation with no easy answer.
Definitely something to think about as we all try to manage the high cost of keeping the lights on here in Connecticut.